Once again, thank you very much for coming here this evening. We've had to make some very difficult decisions in the past day and a half. We don't know whether our decisions were right or wrong and won't know until after the fact. Temple Sinai in Sarasota canceled everything. Emmanuel recognized there'd be poor attendance, but the service was going to be live streamed. The same was the case with Temple Sholem in Sarasota. I could mention other places throughout the country where services are canceled and all events are canceled for the foreseeable future. We decided that we would have the services this Shabbat tonight and tomorrow morning. What will happen next week, follow your email, e-blasts. We will keep you as informed as possible. If you are wondering what's going on right here, I'll take the mystery out of it. We are recording the sermon, not the service, so don't worry. You will not be seen anywhere. And if we like it, and there's no promise that we will, maybe we will make this available. I want to say that when you are supposed to give a sermon in a Jewish context, it's supposed to be based on the Torah reading, and it's also supposed to have contemporary relevance. Sometimes it is difficult to combine the two, and oftentimes I avoid the mental gymnastics needed. Let me read you something from this week's Torah portion. I could not resist giving a sermon tonight or tomorrow morning. This is from the 30th chapter of the book of Exodus. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Make a laver of copper and a stand of copper for it, for washing. Place it between the tent of meeting and the altar. Put water in it, and let Aaron and his sons wash their hands and feet in water drawn from it. When they enter the tent of meeting, they shall wash with water, that they may not die. Or when they approach the altar to serve, to turn into smoke and offering by fire to the Lord, they shall wash their hands and feet, that they may not die. It shall be a law for all time for them, for him and his offspring throughout the ages." And what are we told to do right now? Wash our hands. I don't have to tell you that washing in this context and in a traditional Jewish context isn't turning on the hot water and getting soap on your hands for 20 seconds. No, it was pouring water on each hand 3 times. It was done quite differently. It was not for hygienic reasons. It was for ritual reasons, and is still done in the traditional Jewish world. But washing has relevance. And if you want to go to the words at the very end, a law for all time, we should always wash our hands. We shouldn't have to wait for a horrendous situation like the one we're in right now. Now I want to relate this to something else in this week's Torah reading. This is a special Shabbat, Shabbat Hara. We have an additional reading. If it were a traditional congregation, we'd also read from the 19th chapter of the book of Numbers, which speaks about the red heifer. The rabbis tell us we don't exactly know what the red heifer is, and for the time being, we're not supposed to know. Occasionally, you will read in some tabloid that somebody found some animal that was supposed to be the exact red heifer, but the poor fella had a white hair or something and wasn't entirely red, so did not qualify. The point I'm trying to make is there are things we don't know, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't try to find out what is happening, and we need to expand our scientific knowledge, understand what this virus is, and what the consequences are, and what the process is if we catch it. I don't know, I've never heard a satisfactory answer to any of the questions that we ask. If I get it, how long will it take? Will it be something that will come back a second time? We are, generally speaking, dissatisfied. Let me share with you a couple of very, very interesting hygienic practices that are going to be employed in a congregation in Greensboro, North Carolina. with the internet and Facebook and everything, worlds are opened up to us. This is a congregation that Corinne attended when she was a student in Greensboro some years ago. And here is what they are going to do for their Torah reading tomorrow morning. You know, in a traditional synagogue, when you say the blessings before and after the Torah reading, you hold on to the Atzei Chaim, the wooden pegs. Now, if all these people are holding on to them, we could be transmitting something. So the rabbi has a little piece on Facebook where he shows how he wrapped the pegs with saran wrap, and then after each aliyah, wipe them off with hand sanitizer. Parenthetically, the rabbis of Israel have said we should not, for those who do anyway, and not everyone does, kiss the mezuzah. Now, in this congregation in Greensboro, North Carolina, there are several people in the congregation who know how to read from the Torah, and different people come up and they take the yad from the person before them. To prevent holding the same yad, listen to this one, they are going to be using disposable chopsticks.
That's a great idea.
And why not?
Why not?
And this is a way of using some creativity. Now, on the other hand, there is a custom, and we have it here on Saturday morning, that we parade the Torah around the congregation, and a lot of people will take the fringes of the talis and all of this. It is being discouraged. Everything is being discouraged in an effort to reduce the chance of transmission. So I suggest, we're not supposed to shake hands anymore. We use the elbow or whatever. No kissing. We're supposed to spread ourselves out. Large gatherings, whatever large means, are being discouraged. And I understand all of that completely. One other thing which is going to be a change here tonight. We are not having an Oneg Shabbat. I'm terribly sorry. I know for some of you that's the highlight of the evening. And as jokes have been passed around in previous occasions, if it's that bad, we will give you a coupon to go out and get a donut somewhere. But in all seriousness, there are too many hands that are being used, and I'm going to share a personal something with you of general significance. I have to go to all kinds of receptions where there is finger food. I determined, and it's a good 25 or more plus years ago, I shake hands with my right hand. But if I make sure I pick up the finger food only with my left hand, by doing that, I reduce the amount of colds I have. It seemed to work. If scientifically that doesn't work for you, it worked for me and I'm happy with it. So let's go with that. One of the saddest things we had to decide was with regard to the Passover Seder. The Women's Seder on Monday night is canceled. Our regular, traditional Passover Seder is not going to happen. Now, we're not exactly sure what we're going to do, and everything is up in the air. What I'm going to share with you right now, it's a teaching moment. I don't think it would work for us here, but I'll share it with you anyway. In the 9th chapter of the book of Numbers, the question is answered, what does a person do if a person is ritually impure, and we're talking about ancient times, and cannot take part in the sacrifice of the Passover? The answer, Moses asks God, God gives the answer. 30 days later, known in Hebrew as Pesach Sheni, the second Pesach. I suggested that would be a perfect time to have a Seder, but it wouldn't feel right, and people have gone to Seders elsewhere, and so many of our people will already have gone up north, but I thought it would be worthwhile just mentioning that and sharing it because it has, in rabbinic tradition, a deeper meaning. Not only if you're ritually impure, but let's say you forgot. And sometimes people do forget. People forget it, Yom Kippur, and make a dentist appointment. It happens all the time. Sometimes they change the appointment, sometimes they don't. We're given a second chance. And I hope and I pray that in what we are about to confront, we are given a chance to live through all of this. I need to be an optimist. If I weren't an optimist, I wouldn't be able to be here right now. I also have to be a realist, and who knows what's going to happen. We are cutting back. We strongly suggest we avoid big crowds. We keep our physical distance. All the hugging and kissing has to be put on the back burner for a while. We wash our hands. We're not going to have an Onyx Shabbat tonight, and as a result, we won't say Hamotzi at the end of the service, which would begin the process of eating. We're doing things somewhat differently, but we are under the religious obligation to do everything we can to keep everyone as healthy as possible to save a life. Now, one of the most powerful arguments that I got in the past, 36 hours or what have you, a member of the congregation called and demanded that I cancel everything, all services, etc., etc. Demanded. I said, I'm taking notes on your conversation, and we will review it with the board, and we will take what you said very seriously. That person laid a guilt trip on me, and I accept the seriousness of it. What if, God forbid, one person here picked up something? We can't prevent everything. I went shopping in Publix. I probably came into contact with more people there one way or another than I will tonight. But let us all make an effort at least to reduce the chances. And I know I have a personal commitment that you have a service no matter what. I don't have to face horrendous snowfalls anymore. I have to face different issues here in Florida and the rest of the country right now. But let us all hope and pray that those who are ill get over it easily and quickly without any lasting consequences. That those who will not be paid in the next few days and weeks because of cancellations find ways of getting through everything economically. That the scientists can do the research and the industrial aspect of it produce what we need to fight this horrible threat that we are facing. May God give all of us that strength. And as I have said on many occasions, as God created the illnesses, so God also created the mind of humanity to find ways of curing and avoiding. May such happen very quickly, and let us all say Amen. Let us turn now to page 283.